Hey everybody, I'm back. I thought this is going to be more of well, it's not like a how-to because I ain't a professional, but I have my notes again because I don't trust myself to be on here without them because I tend to babble and I also tend to get a little nervous on here. So believe it or not, I know I seem so comfortable, but I'm not. So, but I wanted to talk to you about writing a book, Untrained. So obviously, if you've read my books, you know they're more stories on paper, basic stories on paper. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not a riveting epic novel writer or anything, but I love the stories that I create in my brain and I like to share them, whether it's with 5 people or, 100. I'm not going to say thousands or millions because I don't know if I can reach that many people. And that's fine with me. But I guess what I wanted to help or encourage you to, if you've ever felt like writing, you should. If you ever felt like you had something to write about, you should. I just talked to my friend Steve about this too, and he is doing it. He's writing a book. It's written. He's just adjusting, and pretty soon it's going to be published, like within weeks. And I'll probably end up talking about it on here so you guys can all get it. It has to do with dogs. It's going to be awesome. But so really, I wanted to, so through this whole journey, I joked around about writing a book, joked around. And then my sister had published a few things through Amazon. And so I wanted to do it. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a shot. Even if I can't figure it out, I'm just going to give it a shot because if I can't publish it, what am I going to be embarrassed about, right? So anyway, so I was able to publish 2 now, this one and this one, which I'll put links in for you if you're interested. But so if you have a story that you want to publish, I'm going to give you my non-professional, I guess, how to or what I did to do it. So I started with the experiences that I was having. So first of all, it's great to be able to take an experience from your life and fictionalize it, exaggerate onto it, and build on it. So you start with the truth and then you adjust it, especially if you're going to be writing about people you know or friends. You definitely want to alter that person, character, not to be the same, not with the same experiences, but some similar ones, blah, blah, blah. So you start with, unless your friends say it's okay and they're alongside you while you're doing it, that's fine. But what I was going to say, yes, write down all the situations, whether it's your thought up situations or ones that have actually happened. So for me, like one of the situations was that in my Deadly Reflection book, we had the salon had hired a boss, a general manager who was mean. She was, she was a bitch. And probably not as much as we thought she was because we were so used to the nice person before her and how she handled, what is it? You attract more flies with sugar than something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so we were so used to our little nurturing, firm, but in a gentle kind of way person who was running the salon, but the salon was growing and getting bigger and she needed someone to get in there and cut through the BS and keep us creative people going. So what was happening is this mean person was saying really horrible things to a bunch of us. Some of us kind of like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. But on a daily basis, she made people cry. So I thought, I would write about it, or I joked around about writing about it at first. So what I did was, as she was, I guess, verbally attacking people, and a bunch of people quit within a short amount of time, I started using that as like the murders, right? And so I started making the characters, and I just used their same names for now, but they weren't exactly like, but they were similar. Um, and then I started writing different murder scenes from the quitting. So, so and so left and went to go work at somebody else. Well, she got murdered in the book. So I would write down this whole thing, and I wouldn't get into the details right away because obviously I didn't think I was going to be writing an actual book. So I just kind of like made up this thing, and I guess my characters were for the good people, they had very similar good qualities as the character, and then some fake bad qualities of the character. And vice versa for the mean lady, she had exaggerated um, bad qualities, obviously, because she's not a murderer, but she murdered our motivation and our feelings, but she didn't actually murder anyone that I know of. Anyway, so you write the basic, like just your basic girl gets a job at a salon. Something is sketchy. She's trying to figure it out. There's a bunch of murders. Something happens at the end, and there's your story. Then from there, you kind of go into detail. What I did was, girl gets second chance at love, moves to a new state, finds this wonderful job at the salon, and, so on and so forth. And then again, went back again. Okay, I have this. Now I need more detail at the beginning. Okay, I've got that. That seems to be going. Now you add more detail, and you can add and subtract all you want. So there's that. And again, if you have any questions, you can always message me on here. Because again, not a professional, don't know how to explain this very well, but because it's all by feel. This is writing by feel is hard. Intuitive writing, basically, I guess. And it's not structured really. I'm trying to structure it for you, but I could explain it to you better with prompts, I guess, questions. So basically, what happened first, what happened in the middle, what happened at the end, and then go back to what happened first. Then what happened next, and then what happened next before what happened in the middle. And then you keep building and building and building. And it doesn't have to be in any order. You can start at the end if you want to. And then what I did was I had a group of friends come over. I actually printed out, it would be just have them bring their computer, and you can share your link to your thing. First, get it copyrighted, then do that. So the next thing is I had an editing party. It was so much fun. I had all the hors d'oeuvres and drinks. I had alcoholic beverages if they wanted it. I had coffee. I had water. I had an array of things to snack on, peppermints, because that's always good to get the focus going. And then I gave them pens and Post-it notes and highlighters, whatever they needed. And then I assigned them each 2 chapters. So they went through their 2 chapters. A lot of them ended up bringing the book home and wanted to do more chapters because I did have some extras. And then once we went through that, I went through and did those corrections, and it was grammar, and it was sentence structure, and it was, this really doesn't make sense. Do you need to have it in the book? I mean, I let them kind of give me feedback however they wanted to. I didn't understand this whole entire chapter, or this sentence needs to be rearranged. all that stuff. It was great because I, again, don't know how to write a book. And a lot of these people that wanted to come and help me, somewhere in their job, there is writing and sentence structure and grammar. So they were able to really, really help me in that sense. The other thing that I did was I wrote everything. This is my writing structure. So you will have your own. And I say stick with it. Don't try to write like somebody else. Find your structure. And I'm hoping this video will help you. So my structure is to sit somewhere comfortable, couch, floor, chair that I like, even in bed, on the beach, wherever I was. I brought a notebook. And the first notebook, I used a pencil. Now I just use pen and I just cross it out because it's sloppy anyway. It can be sloppy as hell if you want it. Just make sure you're able to read it. And then I hit voice to text in my Google Drive and I just read whatever I wrote into the book. At that point, you can rearrange everything. You copy and paste your chapters all over. It can get messy, but it works. You can also have different folders for the different chapters if you like, and then paste them in later, which would be smart. Do that. So after the editing party, then I make all the corrections and then I went on to Upwork, which I recommend, and I found an editor and I sent my book to him and we went back and forth a few times. He gave me overall feedback and then he did chapter by chapter, which was amazing. So very encouraging, very gently firm on what needs to come out, what I need to work more on, what I need to develop more, things like that. And that was a big help. And then from there, I made the corrections until he was like, I think you're good. And then he was actually able to format the book for me for my ebook and my paperback. From there, I originally made my own artwork for the first book, which is here. A little sloppy. It was so hard to do. And I used ChatGPT, which I'm not good at prompting. So it was hard, but that's what I ended up with. I wanted a totally different picture than that, but that's what it came out to be at the end, which now the second book, I basically did the same thing. I did more of a virtual editing party and I had my friends, I sent my friends the link and they were able to do their chapters on their own time at their own house. And they gave me feedback several different ways. Again, however they wanted to give me feedback, I let them do that. Corrected everything. I actually had ChatGPT act as an editor and it went through. I will warn you though, it does not like raunchy sex scenes or very detailed murder scenes. So again, it gives you suggestions. You can listen or not. Once I got it all polished up that way, then I sent it back to the editor. This time I hired an artist to do my cover picture for my second book. And this was on Upwork as well. Let's see, what else? I write down your scenes, write down your conversations, write down random ideas, and you can have different folders on your Google Drive for this. Character moments. Keep your characters specific and change them if you need to, but you want to have a good background on each character. Make it up, have fun with it. And when you're doing all this stuff, when you're building your in-between, writing your scenes, writing the interaction of the characters and all this, you don't have to do it in order, but you definitely need to take note on what chapter you're thinking it should be in, because if you have specific situations happening throughout your book. Obviously, you want to make sure whatever's happening before the murder happen, that the talk is going on with it before the murder or whatever you're going to write. Like I said, you can use ChatGPT if you want this work. If you don't, I know ChatGPT can write books now, but it does something to your heart when you keep it yours. So be very careful using ChatGPT for editing. Keep it as a suggestion so you can make up your mind on the final choice. Ask it to be an editor and give you suggestions so that you can decide what you want to take out, add in, and all that. And whatever, if ChatGPT says add in, you add in. Or if you want it to fill in, that's on you. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, you'll love it when you do your own creation. But just be careful using it if you're going to plan on going to book fairs and stuff. They're very strict on that kind of stuff. So editing, major editing, be careful. Use it to kind of slough through, get the grammar, sentence structure. You can ask it if this makes sense. And if it says no, obviously you need to find out why and then fix it. So just be careful with how much you use it. If you are unfamiliar with ChatGPT, great, because then it's not going to do anything crazy to your work. And always just piecemeal it in. You don't have to send the whole book upload it onto ChatGPT. If you have a sentence that sounds weird, if you have a paragraph you want it to kind of look over, do that. You don't need to send the whole book in. And that way it's not being messed with or anything like that. Let's see. Yes. Editors exist for a reason. So you want to, if you go on to Upwork, I'm telling you, it is the best thing. They have great people on there that work fast and are great. I can give you my editor guy's name if you'd like that. Books are a creation. It's not a quick, well, some people, like professional authors, can whip out a book. They're used to it. They know their structure. I don't know mine yet. I'm still flying by the seat of my pants. I just know I got lots of stories up here that I need to get out. And I rely on my editors. I rely on my friends, my husband, people that I can get lots of feedback from. And that's kind of how you build it. You build it little by little. It's going to look messier before it gets neater, for sure. Right before it is getting to completion, it's going to feel like a mess. And it's hard to read that many times. For me, I think. Your eyes get crossed, you got to like step away and come back. And you definitely don't want to read for a while after that. But I don't even know if any of this makes sense. So basically what I'm saying is start with the basics, beginning, middle, end. And then have your random scenes. If you just experienced something like at the coffee shop in line and there was drama happening with the person in front of you, write it down when you get home or put it on your phone, voice it into your phone. Any little experience like that, any little real life thing, get it in there and you will find a spot to put it in the book. It works great. It's real life situations that you're bringing into the book that aren't known by many people. You don't know the person in front of you at the coffee shop, so throw it on in there, change it up a little. all these little things from life you can pull into your book and write them down randomly, reorganize later. You can take that scene from the coffee shop and put it in chapter 3 and then decide later, actually, it's going to work better in chapter 10. So don't be afraid to switch around. Don't label chapters yet. You can also have the editor help you with that. You can write the whole thing out and place your chapters where you think they might be good. And then the editor will say, hey, this chapter is really long. Why don't you take this first half and put it in the chapter before, or make it its own chapter? So don't worry about chapters. Just write the story randomly. Mostly if you're writing from memory, the order of the book is going to naturally happen. So don't get caught up on chapters and things like that. Just write it down, and you can add, so you reread it and then you add your little updated thoughts into it and it becomes a book. You will know where there is lack of something and you can add it in. And again, if you don't know, rely on your friends, rely on your editor, and you will get it. I hope this helps. Or hopefully it's just entertaining for you. And it is something that you can use. I encourage you to do it. I am still, again, flying by the seat of my pants, starting book 3, and it has been so much fun. Don't put pressure on yourself. Do you have to have a timeline? No. It was 20 years before this first book was an idea to when I finished writing it. So 2003-4 to just 2025 is when I published it. And then this next book just took me a year because I was able to quickly recall everything that went on when I lived in Texas, and then was able to elaborate a lot easier with the second book. And this third one's going to be a little hard, but because it's taking place in where I live now, I've got lots of friends who can help me recall things from a few years ago and get it in. So, but anyway, if you have any questions or feedback, let me know. You're not going to create a masterpiece like just writing it down the first time. You need to fine tune it several times, but it is doable, and it's such an accomplishment whether you publish or not. It is such a good feeling to write a complete story. It doesn't have to be 500 pages. It can be 50 pages. It's still a story that you want to tell. So do it. You can do it. I promise you. You have people in your life that can help you. You'd be surprised at how many people you will converse with about writing books and reading books and how they always wanted to write a book. In my travels selling my first book, I have met several people that have said, I really want to write a book. And I always say, do it. Just do it. Just write it. You can get help. There's help out there that people love reading, love editing, and they will help you. The hardest part about writing a book is where I'm at now, is the sales. Selling the book that you have written. My book is not a bestseller because most people don't know it's out there. And that is fine. Would I love to sell more books? Yes, I would love to sell more books, but I have found help with that too, and I am going through there's plenty of people right on here on YouTube that have how to sell the book. The Method Agency, I will put a link in. They have a whole course on getting your book out there, and I'm working on it, and it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but I'm working on it, and you can too, especially if you are in your 30s and you are computer savvy, and or if you are computer savvy, you should have no problem getting your book out there once you write it, which I guarantee you can do. So anyway, that's it for me. I know this was a little different than my norm, but I just thought I would encourage you to write a book. It could be a children's book. It could be a book of poems. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be a murder mystery. It can be an adventure book. It could be a biography. If you've had an interesting life, which I promise you somebody will think it's interesting. Okay, I swear this time I'm actually going. Do you like how I'm like peeking into the scene here? Anyway, all right, I'm going. You guys stay inspired, keep writing, keep thinking about writing, but do it. Definitely do it.